and hope that Brennan can't take
All right, and we're back. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Eternal Extravaganza number 6 in Baltimore here. We're going to be getting started in just a few moments. Got a couple of fun ones up here. We were actually told that we have some Night's Whisper on one side.
Yeah, more Night's
More
Whisper.
Night's
more.
Whisper. And then some ad nauseum tendrils on the other side. Being Team Bad Guy. Gotta go with my ant list.
Well,
over
I'm
here.
going to go with this list again. It's the same list that we saw before. Actually, this is the same one as the second one. So it wasn't the one that we featured. It's the one that runs 3 fatal pushes, 1 murderous cut. This one is actually not as favored against Storm, though, because it runs fatal push.
It does, however, have a main deck Vendilion click.
It
so
does. That helps even it just a tad, but I actually am not like super set that Jacob's going to beat Rodney here.
Mhm.
I think Storm might still be a little bit favored, but we do have a decent sideboard plan.
Big difference here, though, too. We do have Carpet of Flowers and Xanad Swarm on the board here.
Ooh, so it'll be nice to see if he adjusts.
This is technically our first Ad Nauseum Tendrils list that we're seeing because Brian Cook earlier was playing TES.
Yes.
So slightly different. We have Past in Flames main, Dark Petition, 2 copies of Tendrils of the Agony main, though.
All right, I'll take the good guy list because I'm looking over the sideboard and I'm seeing Click, Flusterstorm, Invasive Surgery, Thoughtseize, Pyroblast, Red Blast, Leovold, Surgical. He's got a plethora of sideboard options. Oh yeah, I used it.
Nice. Yes. 3 amigos. Do you even know what a plethora is? Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't know. I still, the only thing that's a little bit, I mean, an ad nauseum deck having 2 copies of Tendrils and a Dark Petition. I mean, Dark Petition I get, it's just kind of one of those concessions that you have to make nowadays.
Certainly.
But 2 copies of Tendrils in the main is rough.
Yeah, I'm wondering why.
And he has a 3rd in the board, and this isn't a wish list.
Whoa, what's up with that?
How many times are you going to want 3 copies of Tendrils?
Right, and why is it? That's
Yeah.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Very interesting. All right, so we're ready to get down there.
Let's do it.
Let's see it. All right, so we got Rodney on the right and Jacob on the left.
Then a mulligan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, 7 cards.
7 cards. All right. All right. So Jacob did win the die roll, and he starts exactly how I guess you would want to start, not knowing that you're playing against Storm. Even if you are knowing you're playing against Storm, you probably still have to.
Yeah, at this point you're 5-0. You really should be watching some of the top tables and observing what people are on. So I don't think it's inconceivable that we wouldn't know that he's playing it.
Now, did Rodney put a Gataxian probe? Like, is he? Yes. Okay. So that was Rodney starting off with the Gataxian probe there.
So they just fired off into the next turn pretty quick.
So maybe we'll see right into a Cabal Therapy.
Spell Snare, Force of Will, 2 Baleful Strixes, and Volcanic Honor. This looks pretty good for Jacob.
Yeah.
He could even play the Strix and have up Spell Snare mana next turn.
Sure, absolutely.
So I'm liking my hometown hero.
Yeah, I hear you.
And he's not actually from my hometown.
Ooh, Rodney's in a rough spot
Yeah,
here.
Lotus Petal with Ponder in Storm is the equivalent of Mulligan.
Yes. Well, I'm thinking he was relying heavily on that Gataxian probe and his draw.
Yeah, just hoping to get there. And it looks like he has 2 more petals on top, and he's not willing to play that kind of a game.
Well, he's probably better off, sadly.
Oh, yes, I agree. He's not winning with the petal strategy.
Especially looking at how good Jacob's hand is right now.
Especially that, yeah. And Jacob couldn't really ask for a better position. He's got to like this.
If Rodney doesn't rip a land here, not feeling so good.
No. I think
savage. Well, Rodney, you master you.
Let's see if he can really use it to his advantage, though.
It looks like he has a duress in hand. So he will be able to strip Jacob down out of something. He's going to have to...
Island?
Oh.
What's going on there? And what's written on the island? Ethan?
Interesting.
Huh.
Okay. I mean, it's certainly not the sexiest.
Revised?
Yeah.
All right, we're preordating, digging.
Can someone get this guy a guru, please?
Well, he's hitting good hits off these cantrips.
He
That's
is.
a delta, then an LED. I think his decision is, do I want both?
You always want both.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. He's still really not under any pressure. And his list, I mean, the way he's playing it, he's really not relying on passive flames all that much. I mean, definitely the jig is up with Jacob. He knows he's playing against Storm.
Oh, yeah. No doubt in that now.
And apparently his Volcanic Island is LP, and it
And
was
only
$230.
Yeah, I think he might have got that from my booth.
Nice. All right, so Rodney running out of a ponder there, a fishy ponder, which is my least favorite ponder.
Yeah, the Lorwyn one.
I'm not a fan of the Lorwyn ponder.
The foreign foil ones look good, like they're accented well by the foiling, but I agree with you. The core set ones actually look really nice.
Yeah, the moons.
The worlds.
You know. Yep.
I like it.
All right, so we're gonna see looks like we're gonna see a duress here from Rodney.
I wouldn't like it if he would. I'd rather him.
You'd rather him wait until his go-off turn?
Yeah, I like the go-off turn play. All factors are known. You take less risks, but no, I don't see a lot of people doing that anymore.
No.
I see Brian doing it a lot, but I don't see other people doing it a
Well,
lot.
I think oftentimes it's correct, but sometimes, I mean, if you're heavy on discard spells, so like if he has multiple, there are times that you have to empty out your hand.
Oh, look at this.
Holy
Counterspell,
cow.
Spell Snare, Forceful, Snapcaster Mage. I think it's safe to put this one in Jacob's hands as long as he doesn't overly punt this.
He doesn't have all that much pressure on the board yet. It's not over.
That's 3 damage a turn. That's not the worst. And then when
It's not.
when you have the factor that Deathrite gets to untap and use again, you already take 2 off the life. So 16 becomes 14, 3 damage a turn.
Well, he's not going to be able to activate it this turn.
Sure,
Next
but
turn.
essentially there's going to be a 4-turn clock here before Rodney's just too low to come back, and then he's already shutting off ad nauseum plays.
Well, so. I don't think Rodney's ad nauseum plan is all that great.
It's not.
No, not with all those high casting cost spells in there.
But I mean, the fact that it's off means that Rodney's count of Storm has to be so high in order to fluidly go off.
Well, he could also be under because he does have multiple copies of Tendrils. Wow.
You see that? That's interesting. So I guess if he already had the land, he could know that he could play Counterspell or Spell Snare, which is fine. But I don't know that I would have added that second Strix to the board.
Yeah.
It doesn't change the math much any, and you kind of want to stay untapped.
Yeah. Well,
so this will be interesting.
That could be Rodney's window. Oh, Rodney's going in.
He's baiting a Spell Snare is what he's doing.
Right.
Will we bite? Is there even threshold in that graveyard? I don't think there is.
No, I don't believe so.
We can't see it all, though, because Lotus Petal was used at some point, so...
Sure, it was. And a Gitaxian Probe.
Yeah.
And then that first polluted Delta, so there could be.
Yeah, I think it actually is 7, but he could activate Deathrite and just minimize the Cabal Ritual.
Look at you.
Yeah. Exile a land, and then you don't... Oh, okay.
Oh, he got what he wanted.
We took the bait.
Delicious.
Well, good play by Rodney then.
Now the problem is, though, he does know that he's up against another counterspell in Jacob's hand.
I also don't like Jacob playing that land. More unknowns that Rodney couldn't account for. If you draw a Brainstorm, just don't need that land.
Right. Does he have another duress?
He does. Yeah, as soon as the coast is clear, he can move in. He just has to play around a Counterspell and a Force Will.
Oh, the Force Will I think he got with your earlier duress, didn't he?
He did. So it's Counterspell only and Snapcaster.
So discarding it, not the most amount of effect, which I guess is where Jacob wanted to play the second land.
Snapcaster is going to be the big problem.
Right. It's one of the downgrades of playing less Thoughtseizes.
Yep.
Because in this scenario, you might actually just take the Snapcaster, and then know that you have maybe a duress later or a Cabal Therapy to try to get the the counterspell.
That's true. Oof, Force Will off the top.
You know what one of the fantastic things about Storm is? usually wins or loses fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Might get 2 matches.
Might get a second match in, that's true.
Yep.
Or a long break for us. Gotta take into account your announcers.
Absolutely.
Commentators.
We could also give us a little extra time to talk about Dex Protection.
Ooh, yes, which you can buy right off the TOAMagic website.
Absolutely.
TOAMagic.com, and I think they're even offering free shipping.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Pretty excellent products there. And hopefully everybody keeps an eye out for the future satellite series so that they can come to this next event with a buy.
And with a buy is you could get a sleep-in special, all that sort of stuff.
Gotta love sleeping specials.
So here we see Rodney going at a Dark Ritual.
Yeah, this is the hope you counter the wrong spell situation.
Well, the problem is, though, for him, though, is he only really has 1 Black Source.
Yep. So if this one's countered, it is just done, too.
It's pretty much lights out.
Yeah.
All right. 5 black mana. Ad nauseum. I will respond to that, or will I?
Well, he's at 5, so just let it happen.
Yeah.
That's what Rodney was counting on, actually. He's like, my only chance is to hit fire here.
Oh, that's a good start. LED?
Yeah. Oh, already lost, probably. Because he needed to hit tendrils and a lot of low spells.
Yep. And I have to stop.
Can't stop.
I
Just
know.
lose.
Can't stop, won't stop. How about that?
Yep. Keep going.
Well, I've certainly died from much higher life totals.
Yep.
So, it is what it is. So, coming up now, we do have some sideboarded games here.
What do we got? Oh, I already told you about Jacobs. Lots of options. Leovold, Toxic Deluge, Surgical, Click, Flusterstorm, Invasive Surgery, Thought Seed, Pyroblast, and Red Blast. He's got a lot of options.
Well, and sitting from an ad nauseum tendrils player's sort of perspective, if you're bringing in Red Blast, I'm okay with it. If you're bringing Toxic Deluge, I'm okay with it because this list doesn't even have a way of making a bunch of goblins. So
what I love about this, though, is it's Sanded Storm protection and Empty the Warrens protection.
I gotcha, but
Sure, from a store perspective,
like if you're gonna bring that in, I'm happy about it.
Yeah, it's nice to see it.
Yeah, like please, don't bring in another Flusterstorm. Bring in all the Toxic Deluges. But so we do actually have Xanon Swarms in Rodney's list.
Yep. So he'll have to bring the Bayou in for the extra green source.
Right.
Probably doesn't want Abrupt Decay though.
No, he wouldn't take Abrupt Decay here.
Probably wants Sanded and Carpet.
Oh, he actually does have an empty in the 75. So you know what? I was incorrect with that. So maybe the Toxic Deluge would be a worthwhile thing here.
And I think he wants to bring it in here too. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, now your Toxic Deluge feels better.
Yeah. What do you think Storm player boards out? As a Storm player, you can tell me because I don't play Storm.
Well, there's a couple of things that you would do. You would look at shaving like a Preordain or a Ponder maybe. You definitely want your probes in. From this list, I would definitely be probably going to a single tendrils as one of the cuts for me. Because preserving life total is very important, especially if you're going to bring in the Xanid Swarms. It's going to protect your other copy of it.
Sure, and if they surgical it, doesn't matter how many copies are in the main, it's still gone.
Right, and considering how that round went, figure on probably not having any Wastelands. Wastelands is not something that really bothers ad nauseum tendrils list because it's threshold.
It's like
for your
nipping at it.
Yeah, so you could certainly take out your Swamp for your Bayou.
Okay.
So that's kind of an easy swap there.
Swap.
Yeah, I wouldn't be bringing in. See, like you were talking about earlier, the Chain of Vapor is kind of like that catch-all.
Yeah.
You almost have to bring in one, even blind,
just in case.
Well, yeah, if your opponent just starts with Leyline of Sanctity, if you don't have it, it's.
Well, you could do the empty plan, I guess, but.
Well, that's if he brought that in. So he's got to bring in one of the two of those, guaranteed.
Sure.
Just because you don't know there. Carpet of Flowers is a possibility. I was never big on a Carpet of Flowers plan, but I mean, I certainly could see it coming to a whole lot of use against any sort of mana denial sort of strategy. But
from the 4-color control side, we're in that similar situation of I hope he boarded out Jace's, Murderous Cut certainly, Abrupt Decay maybe not necessary, Fatal Pushes hopefully cut those.
He's got a lot of room.
Yeah, he's got a lot of room and a lot of things to bring in. I think his matchup gets a lot better, and hopefully he makes the right swaps to make this Another one in my favor. I'll be up 2 on you. Thanks to that lucky draw from the previous
I
round.
really want to see a whole bunch of pyroblasts and
Although I do think
Dominations.
Jarvis is going to lose that. It had more time been
Yeah,
initiated.
I think so
We had a
too.
Jace on 11, a Liliana out. We had no threats left in
Right.
Jarvis's deck. It was looking not good for him.
Jarvis
So,
having that one Entreat the Angels countered, I think, was
yeah,
huge.
huge.
Yep.
Yeah. All right,
Looks like
looks
these
like
guys are still just about to cut each other's deck.
maybe there was some last minute sideboard change.
So Grand Prix Prague, Matt,
Yeah.
for Rodney.
I wonder if he was in Prague.
I don't know. Could be. It's a good place to shoot movies.
Is that Geist on there?
Yep. Guys, St. Traff. Card that saw a lot of legacy play initially and not
Yeah.
so much anymore.
I really like the art that we do on these Eternal playmats. They
It's
tend
awesome.
to be really good and survive long times. So like that Tales of Adventure playmat, fabulous. The previous ones from Eternal Weekends,
Mhm.
also great. The NYSE, awesome. All these events, they just have great organizers. Their personalities are great. They run things smoothly. The staff they hire is excellent. That was a pat on the back.
Yeah, a little bit. Just a little bit. I didn't know you could reach that far back. Oh, it's very large legacy. Yes. All right, so we're seeing here if we're going to keep our opening 7. Oh, man.
It looks like it has all the spells. Does it have the lance?
Jacobs just
Nope,
nope,
not the
no
lands.
lands. I'm gonna say, man, they all look good though when there's no land.
Oh yeah.
They all look really, really good.
Yeah, you gotta love having that conversation with some people sometimes. Like, oh, it's so good.
If you could just add 2,
God.
well, yeah, you could always say that.
Yeah.
If it wasn't, I would worry about what you're playing in Legacy.
It's like, can I choose the 2 that you don't get to have those lands?
Nice.
And maybe it doesn't look so good.
Not so, no so bueno.
No. Doesn't look anything like an Oreo churro, for instance.
Oreo churros.
You can have those, right?
I could, yes.
Oh, are you not going to?
I went and I had some cashews.
Oh.
Delicious.
You should take it easy, though.
Yes. All right, looks like we're on a go here, and Jake has resolve scry.
Kept on top, it looked like.
Yep.
Turn 1 death right.
Brainstorm. Yep. One thing I will give Jacob a lot of credit for, he's not being shy in playing out
Right.
his creatures and just kind of knowing. I mean, again, against TES, I would worry more. Against Ad Nauseam Tendrils, I wouldn't worry as much.
Right. Yeah, he knows that playing that death right means that he can't cast Brainstorm and he could just die to whatever Rodney's play is.
Right.
So we'll see what he does with his following turn.
I mean, obviously, both of these guys doing pretty darn well to be at 5-0 at
Definitely.
such a really not an easy tournament by any stretch of the
Oh,
means.
no. Even though the tournament might be smaller, the crowd that's here, they're the crowd that you want to pick if you could form a team for this format.
Sure, absolutely. Actually, I heard some players rejoicing earlier that you were on coverage for both days.
Knowing that they didn't have to face
They
me?
don't have to. Yeah, it's like one less ringer in the room.
Well, that is very flattering.
No, I'm lying to you. but-
Oh. And then totally redeem yourself.
Absolutely. All right, so Deathrite going into that Brown Town there.
Wow, he attacked with it.
Yeah,
I'm surprised by that play.
he's getting him some.
Yeah.
Jacob definitely has to establish a clock. He probably has other ways to do that. I mean, oh, well.
So Jacob is totally opening the door for Rodney to just win here. He could have held up
Correct.
2 mana with a counterspell.
Well,
And he
but
ran out of
Rodney is
Deathrite.
not even having it. Just
No.
playing lands, saying go. You know, with the flooded strands in his list, he almost would be something if he had like a silence.
Right. I feel like, what does Jacob know that we don't?
I don't know.
All these lines, they're confusing.
Are they blurred lines?
They're blurred. They're blurred. Is that a
Right.
third Deathrite?
Third Deathrite.
He might be able to like stop an empty play in here. That's a lot of 1/2s.
It is.
Those squires can go the distance.
Talk about a card that people collected.
Yeah, they're built for speed.
People collect squires.
A memorable Dan Ray from my local shop.
D-Ray,
likes to
absolutely.
collect squires.
Rodney just land pass. This is like old school control. Draw go.
He's got Dark Ritual, Cabal Ritual, Dark Petition, LED, Sanded
Duress.
Swarm, and another land.
I think I saw Duress too, right?
I don't know if I saw that, but could be.
If he has a Xanax form, why wouldn't he play that out?
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not playing the Xanadu Sword myself. I think he's like trying to bait a counter the turn he plays it and not use it for what it's supposed to be used.
I guess. I mean, if it gets a counter, either way, it's kind of a win.
Right. Maybe he doesn't want it to be removal spelled before he's ready to actually do something.
Could be. I mean, I don't hate the draw-go plan with the Storm deck.
The painful thing is that all 5 are fetch lands, so he's about to lava axe himself when he finally starts to use his mana. 25% of your life gone.
Go.
These death rights beating in.
Just
so
smash and
surprising.
face.
Take that too.
Hiya. Thinking like it's like a Hong Kong Fooey chop here, you know?
Yeah, leave one back, man. You want to keep him off threshold. You got to worry about passing flames. You have a target in your graveyard. You'll have one in his soon. Just swing with one.
I don't know,
Come on,
Jacob's thinking
Jacob.
about.
You're my favorite here. I voted for you. Do me proud.
All right, there it is. 2 of them coming in.
I sure hope that doesn't cost him.
All right. Oh, there's a non-fetch land.
Ooh. Xanadu Swarm time.
Xanadu Swarm. Time to get busy. Busy bee time. Bzz.
What are you doing, Jacob?
Shimon now.
Looks like hard casting a counter spell.
Come on. You can do it.
We have 2 surgicals in Jacob's hand.
He wants all the surgical extraction.
He's hoping for like a Thoughtseize. I'm telling you. Like, just give me a juicy target. Let me get that out of there.
Yeah. Well, with 2 of them, it could even be like duress.
Yeah.
And make it so that Rodney can't interact with him at all.
Ronnie's thinking about going off in the blind right now. Trying to read his opponent for tells, the way that mannerisms, how he's played the game. And to Jacob's credit, if he's bluffing on some of these tap outs, he's done a great job.
Sure.
And Rodney definitely believed it.
So what are we going to do here, Jacob? Are we going to attack in for 2 again?
Well, I think 1 again is the right number, but
1 is the loneliest number.
yeah, since the number 1. I still don't like playing out these lands too.
I mean, even for nothing else other than grabbing a brainstorm later and putting them back even.
I do think it's funny that Jacob has some lands that are written on.
I do. It's like a B on top of that tropical island.
Yeah, is it BG?
Something. Maybe it's the how do I know who to give these back to plan?
Maybe.
That could be like that community we were talking about. Oh, look at you got your wish. It was an attack for 1.
Thank you.
All right, we drew a swamp there for Rodney.
Hopefully he's at least doing this on the draw step.
I would like to see your deck, please. And again, this is where Bryant was so great in.
Yeah.
Let me pick this up. Let me pull these out for you.
Find him for you real quick.
Yep. It's really the way you should do it. All right, so he brought. Yeah, there were only 2 Xanadu Swarms. He brought them both in.
So it does have a duress, Cabal Ritual, land, LED.
I think he's had that duress for turns.
Yeah. He doesn't have the storm count to kill.
No.
What's interesting is that surgical pay 2 life was unnecessary again.
Yes.
People just don't want to pay a black mana.
You know, you get so used to it, though. You know, it's like a Taxian Probe. Like, nope, oh, no, there's no such mana.
It's gonna suck if it costs him.
Yep. I had this one game that I was playing at an open where I was playing against High Tide.
Yeah.
And I knew he had Flusterstorm. And I actually built up enough mana to pay for every copy of Flusterstorm with Tendrils. It was pretty, it felt pretty savage. It involved a lot of +3s. You just kind of let me keep going. Like, okay.
Been a lot of fun situations against Storm. We beat it in a lot of various ways. Had a situation where they Infernal Tutored for ad nauseum, and I surgicaled So he resolved the ad nauseam, revealed everything, and he drew like 20 cards, most of his deck.
Mm-hmm.
And he cast a Lotus Petal, but in response, I surgicaled that Infernal Tutor, which took 3 of them out of his hand.
Oh.
And then, still in response, I clicked him and put his tendrils on the bottom of his library.
Oh.
And he could dig so deep, but he couldn't get there. I think he was like 2 cards off from the rest of his library. Pondering, preordaining, all that jazz, brainstorming.
Healy, you're a bad, bad man.
Yeah, I know. And the funny thing is the click was enough to kill him on the swing back, too. It was like everything had to line up just right. It was a Star City Open.
All right. So he can definitely lava axe himself anytime he wishes.
I don't know that he has enough lands to actually get with all that.
What does he have out? He
Trop.
only has out the Trop. So he has 2 islands, 1 swamp, volcanic, 2 undergrounds.
Okay, so he does.
Yep.
I think one of the lands is in his hand, so he has exactly all the lands in his deck.
Well, technically, right now he is pretty much dead to anything.
Yeah.
Colgan's
Command, Lightning Bolt, all that stuff would put the nail in the coffin here.
He's going to need that mana. So as soon as he cracks a couple of fetch lands, it's pretty much lights out.
But there's not enough instants and sorceries, but he also can't go off without.
I was going to say, he has to
giving
play
him that.
those.
Yeah, so Jacob can just kind of say go and just win.
He's like, can I do this? Can I
We
just
do
go?
see Colgan's command in his hand. He's wondering, can I activate targeting myself for the discard to put the right things in the yard to do it, but I don't think he can. I think he has to say go one more time and then wins.
Yeah.
Because Surgical can go to the yard for free also, but he's lacking 2 mana. So now he's probably figuring out the best way to do this. And Jacob, it's probably just saying go.
Yep. Again, this is going to put another nail in the coffin here.
Yeah. Ooh, Infernal Tutor. We know that Jacob has a Spell Snare, though.
Do we know anything? Would Rodney know anything about Jacob's hand? I don't think he would.
I don't think he knows about Spell Snare.
No.
I don't think he knows about Colgan's command either. So.
No.
But the rest
And
will
now he's
let
gonna
him
know.
find out. Like you said, though, the same problem still exists. The fetch lands are going to do him in.
Yep. There is no real good, I mean, there's plenty of good picks, I guess. You can pick any of those 3. His shields are technically down. The problem is, how much black mana does Jacob have open? And
if Ronnie doesn't win this turn, he's dead.
yes.
So it doesn't matter what he takes in that regard. So Spell Snare is probably right.
Oh yeah, you still take that, but now that's 2 cards that can be removed by Deathrite.
Right. So this is why
That
he
puts you at
has to
4.
also have to try to go off this turn, and he could only crack 1 fetch.
LED? Oh wow! All right. Go Rodney. Go team bad guy.
He's gonna try. No reason not to try.
All right, there's the 1 fetch. And he does look like he has Cabal Ritual.
But Cabal Ritual without Threshold.
Sure.
Ooh, we're responding in Colgan's
With
command.
Colgan's command, yeah.
This turns on the fetches.
It does, because that's less activations of Deathrite Shaman to do damage in response.
No, it doesn't. 2 Deathrites can still be used.
Oh, because he can use 1 Deathrite to remove the land.
Yeah, but he can't destroy the artifact and make him discard a card and shock him. So that would turn on 2 more fetches. So the right move is 2 damage and not discard, because it shuts off 2 cards instead of 1.
Did. That's exactly what he did.
Good. You my boy, Jacob. Let's do this.
So Rodney, yes, still no more fetches allowed.
Yeah, he's shuffling, wondering what his options are, but I think the book is closed.
See, this would be the time where we would actually want Bryant's dice, and did he just do that?
Yeah, he's testing the waters. Yeah, there it is.
That's it. Sorry, Rodney.
These things happen.
Well, you know what happened? You know what got him?
What's that?
I picked him. It was over as soon as it started. Poor Rodney.
Yeah, I'm liking my picks so far. They've been.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna check to see if we can get somebody else on camera.
Let's show them some of our Dex protection stuff.
Sure,
These things that
absolutely.
they can buy on the
TOAMagic.com
website. Yeah.
So right here I have a holds up to 75 double sleeve cards with 2 interchangeable compartments. Perfect for standard size cards.
These are all actually pretty sweet. The feel to them I really like.
Pro Line is the name of this one.
It's good fabric. And then I also love the Velcro things that we've come up with. It's not like actual Velcro. It just kind of like snaps into place.
Well, it's a magnet.
Magnets.
That's
yeah.
magnet. How do they work? The Insane Clown Posse only knows.
Got some nice room. You can differentiate your sideboard from your main. And then, like, some of these have good dice slots in them, too, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think the great thing about something like this, too, it's actually removable. Take it out, put your stuff in there. You can keep your sideboard separate from your main deck.
And you got your size differences depending if you're building for EDH or if you're just building a regular deck.
Well, these are specifically with things like Eternal Players in mind, with 75 double sleeve cards.
Some people are triple sleeve nowadays. Bryant Cook, for one, likes to triple sleeve.
Oh, gosh.
I know.
You just want to be so far away from your cards, like no tactile remembrance of that at all.
And free shipping on the website for this stuff, guys.
That's awesome.
So you really want to have
and a free dessicant.
Ooh.
Every single one. If you ever drop your cell phone, you don't use rice, you use these things. So,
really?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually,
good to know.
They actually pull moisture. Rice does not.
Wow.
So,
all right.
Are we going to be able to get another one? No. Okay. Let's talk about this a little bit more then, if you guys don't mind. So this to me reminds me of a much nicer version of what I used to keep a lot of cards
The
in.
old 1K rows?
Yeah, exactly. You go and you have them in there, but this also from Dex Protection, available at TOA Magic. You can go and keep a couple of decks in there, or maybe you're going to keep your dice in there, keep a couple of EDH decks in there. This one, to me, screams EDH.
I want that, actually.
You want this one?
That's something I would buy.
Well, and you know what? Not for nothing. For me, Superman colors.
Yeah.
That's pretty darn badass right there. Look at that.
More of a Batman fan, but
Yeah?
I do like blue also.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that one is called the Game Chest.
Oh.
Pretty cool. So if you're looking for that on TOAMagic.com, Game Chest, go there and grab one of those. This next one here,
This one has
Dex
a lot of
Creation
components.
series is also one of them. I don't know if that's not this one.
No, not that
I
one.
didn't do that right.
Probably that one.
Yeah, the Pro Line L deck box. So this is another Pro Line, except this one's 175 double sleeved cards.
3 interchangeable compartments.
Yep. Go and find them the way you need them. Pretty cool stuff right there. You could probably keep a pack of Marlboros in here. That's not PC anymore. You can put some vape in here. No.
I love all those vape memes on Facebook.
Oh my
They're
God! You know what?
so
I did
funny.
that for 4 years.
Yeah, vaping?
Oh yeah, I was big into that. It was like everywhere I went. Where's Joe? Well, find the puffy cloud of smoke. You know. It
My
was,
own mother vapes.
oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Better than smoking.
Yeah,
I
it is.
firmly believe that.
Prefer it to smoking, that's for sure.
Absolutely. So we also have this guy right here. I think there's another Pro Line.
Oh, we already did that one.
Yeah, the green one. We did the green one. Fine.
I will show it again.
Show it all. Show
Green.
it all. Look at
Buy it all. Be
guys.
ridiculous.
You can collect all of them. All 157.
There's
But no.
157?
Sure. No, but guys, check them all out. TOAMagic.com, EEMagic.com for all of your Eternal Extravaganza needs. The satellite series you'll be able to find on there. Links to this stream. Yeah, that's on there as well too.
I assume they already know that link if they're here watching us.
Well, no, because they could have just found this by accident on Twitch.
Oh, that's true.
Yep. Or it could be from Eli Cassis's Twitter, where he was like, "Come see me here. I'm a popular guy. I look like a
have
model."
Twitter. I don't use Twitter.
You don't use the Twitter?
I'm old school still. I'm still learning the tweets.
Mm-hmm. So you're not Snapchatting and Instagramming and.
So I have Snapchat.
Okay.
Don't really use it as much as receive it from friends.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never used Instagram before. Don't
Okay.
know how to use it. Don't have
We
any
can teach you
concept.
online.
I'm teachable.
You're teachable. I
Yeah.
believe that. I believe that, sir. So do you want to talk a little bit, since we have a minute, should we talk about vintage real quick?
You know, we could give them another clue about our
Oh.
guest speaker.
Clues.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, just so you know, too, before that clue, let's just talk about this clue real quick. We are going to be giving away a bunch of stuff in Top 8, possibly before Top 8.
Yeah, we're not sure about the details exactly, but giveaways.
Free stuff.
Free stuff.
Watch, get free stuff. It might even be some of the stuff that you just saw.
Did somebody say free stuff?
Free stuff.
Free stuff.
I'm a fan.
Yeah.
If it's free, it's for Ely or me. Come and see. Oh, sorry. All right. So yeah, we can talk about vintage a little bit. We can talk about the other person that's going to be here tomorrow. I gave the last hint. I think it's your turn.
Well, I was actually going to ask, since you're playing vintage, do you want to tell us about your deck?
Yes, sure, absolutely.
It's actually a cool twist on 2 different styles.
So but people that are watching now and coming tomorrow might be able to beat me.
Oh, yeah, you're worried about your
that's
kids
fine.
winning?
Yeah, nice. Wow.
That's adorable.
Obviously, with my record today, I have nothing but a come up tomorrow, Ely. All right. No, so a couple of the major decks in vintage, one of which being Oath, and then the recent kind of coming around of the paradoxical lists.
First of all, let's say Oath of Druids, if people don't play much vintage.
Sure.
Old Exodus card.
Yes.
3 and 1 enchantment. If your opponent controls a creature, you mill off the top of your library.
More
till you hit a
creatures,
creature.
right?
More
creatures.
Sorry,
So, like,
yeah.
if I have 2 and you have 3, I can do it.
And your opponent could use it if you control more, so it's kind of like a worldly effect. But you
Yes.
run Forbidden Orchard, which creates creatures for your opponent, and then you get the advantage to activate it and put in big, heavy threats.
And then Paradoxical Outcome, recent card entering into the vintage world, mainly powering Storm lists, sometimes also powering Mentor lists as well too, because you can go and play all these things, get all these things back, play them again, get a whole bunch of monks, and
It just seems like the later the game goes in vintage, the better that card gets.
Yes, 100%.
And it's not even awful early. You have 3 Moxes, you're like, sweet, it's an Ancestral Recall.
I will gladly, it's a gush, like let's gush away.
Yeah.
So the deck that I'm actually going to be playing is a combination of those 2 decks. So it's Paradoxical Oath. There's a lot of fun stuff going on in there. The deck feels insanely overpowered.
Do you ever find yourself with like 3 or 4 Oaths out and you're casting Paradoxical Return, just bouncing Oaths?
No, it's
No?
artifacts.
Is it? I
It's
thought it was non-token permanents.
Well, I could read my card better, but we'll double check that to be sure, because otherwise I think I could be casting more Oaths.
Well, I think I just helped your chance. Ooh, I'm right.
You're
I
gonna
think I just
cast
helped
more
your chances
Oaths.
of winning tomorrow.
I didn't even try that ever. I've been playing it mainly on Moto, and yep. Thank you, Ely.
You're welcome.
Is Ely just going from decreasing my chances to increasing my chances? But no, I mean, anyway, the deck, you can go and you can bounce a bunch of stuff, draw a bunch of cards. Basically, you want to go and hit a bunch of Moxes.
Yes.
You really want to hit the artifacts is actually what it is.
That's the best thing for it.
Yeah, and then you go and you tap again for some more mana.
When you're over 3 artifacts, it adds mana and draws you a card.
Yes.
Like, just unreal.
It's insane. Absolutely insane. Then you can still play Oath in that same shell, play a couple of copies of Grizzlebrand as another way to draw more cards.
Now, you don't get the room for something like Gush because you play Orchard, right?
Right.
It's too bad. Gush is so good. Lots of fond memories of Gush and Fast Spawn.
I mean, there's no better feeling in the world than when somebody has, like, Strip Mine or a Wasteland, and they're like, I'm going to take out this Gush. All those things, right?
The old 0 mana Ancestral Recall.
Seems
so good.
pretty good.
Yeah.
You're a big fan of things that are like 1 or no mana that are like Ancestral Recall, right?
It could be a boat.
It could be a boat. Could be a boat. So a couple of the other things that we might see in Vintage, we actually made this list a little bit earlier when we were talking about the Legacy metagame. So there's a White Eldrazi list.
Yeah.
Hate Bears, basically.
It's the new version of Hate Bears.
Yep.
They used to exist like a white-red Hate Bears. It was Thalias and Gorilla Shamans, but The format's
Oh, Gorilla
evolved.
Shaman. That's a good card.
Yeah,
Yeah.
old school tech. I used
Absolutely.
to love me some Gorilla Shaman.
Yeah, I played against that a couple of times in Legacy and started to lose things like LEDs and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, Shaman, like, oh.
And for those of you who
Seems
don't want to
terrible.
Google it, 1 red, 1 1. It's 1 colorless XX. Destroy target artifact with casting cost equal to X. So for 1 mana, you eat a Mox, you eat Lotus. 3 mana, you eat Soul Ring. 5 mana, you eat Grim Monolith, so on and so forth.
It's pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then there's, I don't know, we were talking about this, maybe Merfolk. I haven't seen much of that recently in
Yeah, we were
Vintage.
saying how it's the boogeyman. I actually lost in a Vintage event a year and a half ago playing for top 8 to Merfolk. And I'm like, oh, how's this still a deck? This is Vintage. And it got me. Steel Sabotages and all those, I know, right? All those janky blue spells with some janky creatures that you can't block. And it was just...
That you
was
can't
enough.
block is really, that's why
Yeah.
that deck can exist is, you know.
Only reason that deck
Yeah.
exists. Can't
Island
block.
Walk seems pretty good.
Yeah, otherwise it'd be like Elvish Champion. It'd be like, oh, nobody plays
Not
that.
so good.
Blue is the color, and
Yep.
you're playing Vintage, so...
Aggro shops, obviously very different losing Lodestone Golem in multiple copies.
Well, this is where we talked about Heavy Ballista, too.
Yes.
It just comes in so good. Workshop and land 2/2 Ballista on 1, and like having a Ravager at some point, sacking all the things, putting all the counters on that, beating in, and then sacking the tokens to kill you. It's like Berserk and Become Immense met into the stacks list. It's just not fair.
Yeah, colorless.
Colorlessly.
Colorless Berserk slash,
Yeah.
yeah.
Colorless Infect. It's here, guys. And not to mention, let's talk about the fact that you have 4 workshops that are like lotuses. Tap, get a free lotus.
Seems good.
Yeah.
Every turn.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Not ban worthy or anything.
No, ban Lodestone Golem.
I know. Let's restrict Chalice of the Void. That'll do it.
That'll
It was
do it.
only in the sideboard after all.
I mean, to be fair, back when Lodestone Golem was around, that was a main deck.
Yeah,
and
it was.
They're different decks, though.
But I feel like even at the time, people were starting to talk about moving away from it and moving it into the sideboard because Mental Misstep was around. People weren't
Right.
relying on ones the way they used to.
Right.
So.
Blue-White Standstill. Deck that I tried for a little bit. I don't know. I just had a hard time with it. It seemed like I either had all the things or I had nothing.
Yeah, it's surprising. Like, you either have those powerful hands where you ramp out with a Mox on standstill real quick, which you don't play many in that deck, and then you have a man land to pressure them to crack it, and the card advantage gets you there. It seems like a lot of working pieces that need to come together at just the right time. So I don't feel like this deck is as powerful anymore. I think you'd rather be playing the Mentor lists, where you're
Which would
proactive.
be the next thing that we had up on our list, which was, blue, red, white Mentor.
Yes, with a sometimes random
Sometimes
X
X.
color, sometimes splashing either black or green, depending on what they want to put.
I think
into
probably
the
more
lists.
black than anything.
Oh yeah, the better cards are in black. Let's put a Demonic Tutor in there and just get whatever we want, for sure.
Demonic Tutor seems like it'd be pretty good.
My favorite card in Vintage will always be Yawgmoth's Will. For so many years, that was just the card. I resolved it, I won. You resolved it, you won. And that's just the way it went.
It does not work out very bad, that's
No,
for sure.
no.
You know.
It's gotten less good, though. People aren't playing it as much in Vintage anymore, which is just so shocking to me. Like, when they restricted it in Vintage, it was like, oh, that is what you want to draw all the time. The dream was Gifts Ungivening, and then getting Ancestral, Time Walk, Black Lotus, Yawgmoth's Will, and, like, already having the recoup in your hand.
Nah.
There's just no beating that. It's
There
so
you go.
good.
And of course, there's always still Dredge.
Oh,
Dredge
yeah.
still exists in the format as well, too.
The mulligan until you have a bizarre hand.
Yes.
It is the boogeyman of the format. It does make people play really cool cards, like City in a Bottle. Is that what it's called? Exile all Arabian Nights cards. And then they can't be
Jeepers
played.
Christmas. Yeah.
City in a Bottle? Is that right?
Yeah.
I think it's right, yeah. But basically 2 mana artifact and exiles all Bazaars, and they can't replay Bazaars. So it sounds janky, and it only beats that deck, but it beats that deck.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one way to do it.
Dredge needs repeated activations of Bazaar, and they totally count on it happening and keeping it there. So
Yeah,
if
they
you
don't
run
really-
out one of those quick.
They really don't cast spells with mana.
No. And as I said, it's 2 mana and it's artifact mana. So Soul Ring, it's out. Any Mox, it's out right on turn 1. Not like Leyline of the Void. If it's not in your opening hand, you have to wait till you get to 4 mana. Maybe they've gotten enough activations where they kind of get you. This one's like, nope, good, right out, right away.
Cool. So we got a lot of stuff to look forward to. I think we'll go and we'll tap it out for right now. Guys, remember TOAMagic.com, Dex Protection, EEMagic.com. Come check them out. Buy some stuff. Got some awesome deck boxes and some game boxes and all sorts of things going on there. I think we know which one Ely's taking home. But we'll see you real soon with the next round. Talk to you then.
See you guys.